Right, of course. Let's say you're king for a day. You get to design, today's training, and we purposely want to push this people, the person or group of people to failure, so that they can finally, figure out what, I don't know, how to improve, I guess, in
Hmm.
whatever it is. How would you design a scenario kind of like that where it's going to be super difficult. They're not going to know the answers. There's constantly going to be dilemmas. Like, how would you design that? Just how would you
Yeah.
design that?
Yeah. I mean, and if we're designing something like that, I mean, I think in my head, at least, we're talking about, more experienced individuals. This is, a higher level of learning. Um, and, I think anytime you're designing something like this, and I try to impress this upon every student that I have when it comes to designing educational experiences, is I've got to know the outcomes of what I want them to have. Like that, whenever you're designing a lesson, an experience, a scenario, whatever, I've got to know, like, where do I want them to go? And so I think that's the most important thing. I think we're just overall kind of lazy about specific outcomes that we want, right? And sharing that with people and letting them know that's part of it. But, really, in designing that, based on outcomes, and then sort of knowing, how I'm going to debrief things, letting them know that. And then, like, in the middle there is like all the stuff. And, you can do whatever you want with the scenarios. And, I've always joked with, like, new educators, like wilderness medicine and things like that, that we could make up any ridiculous scenario, and these folks that don't know any better are going to think it's amazing. And we always want, like, more, better, more extreme, more blood, more screaming, things like that. And I think part of that, we're doing it for us. And so the bag of stuff that you have to deliver the information, that can be any bag of stuff. That's not honestly what's important. And, for me personally, I'm going to want to make sure that there are, skills that are going to go poorly. Your video, your, like, Mac, video blade that you carry around, like, that's going to die, and you're going to have the DL in a bright sunny day. But there's also going to be some interpersonal stuff that goes wrong in case somebody's got the tasks really licked, and there's going to be some interpersonal stuff. And then there's going to be, an environmental challenge, and, like, making sure if I want it to be that they are going to fail, need to make sure it's a lot of variety in how those failures take place too, which sounds weird.